steamed that I have ordered and wanting to do a review on, not a review per se, but more like a sneak peek unboxing thing. I have here this package, and this package has something in it. Who would have thought that a package would have something in it? No, I'm kidding. But are you as excited to see what's in this as I am? Because I am. So let's open it, shall we? Let's open it. I'm gonna put this down as quietly as I can. Okay, bear with me here. Oh my god, that's so cool. Okay, are you excited to see? Because I am. Let's get the box out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, I have here I believe 2004 Deluxe edition of The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. As you may know, I collect this specific deluxe editions from all of Tolkien's books, and I have already done a review on, I believe now 3 of them: The Children of Hurin, The Fall of Numenor, and The Silmarillion. Update: I have actually finished The Fall of Numenor, and I might do a review on it soon. I don't actually remember if I did a review on The Silmarillion, but I might do a combined video of reviewing both of them in one video, if you would be interested in that. But that's for a future video. We're here for this now, because I, for having those 3, actually did not already own The Lord of the Rings itself. In this edition, I have a 3-novel little box set of the paperbacks, which was a gift for my birthday. But I was looking at this one online, and I could be totally wrong about this, but I believe that they're maybe discontinuing it or something, because all the normal sources where I go to find my books suddenly didn't have it in stock. And the link that I saved from a website that I normally buy books from did have it, only upped the price. So I became a little anxious that it might go up in price so much that it would be like 200 or 300. And then I was like, well, I'm not gonna buy a book for 300 euros. I actually would buy a book for 300 euros if it's The Lord of the Rings, but I saved a lot of money by buying it now, so that's why it's here. Fight me. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, I have not yet looked into this. I'm going to be perfectly honest, as soon as I found it in the mail, I did open the plastic wrapper that's over it, just because I wanted to see what it looks like, and that's not my fault, because I am a responsible adult, and I can look at my own packages when I want to. So anyways, let's take a look. So as far as the slipcase itself goes, not much going on the bottom, the top, and the right side. But on the left, we have this little round viewing board surrounded by the One Ring inscription with 2 little flames, and inside you can see the eye of Sauron peeping through at us, always watching. And then we have the spine, which of course has Tolkien's rune or symbol, J.R.R. Tolkien, The Lord of the Rings, and then HarperCollins, the publisher. But without any further ado, let's get it out. I am beyond excited for this. He's very Rings, the definitive edition of the text, fully reset for this special edition with many exclusive features. Using J.R.R. Tolkien's original manuscripts and with access to his own annotated copies of the books. The editors have restored the text with almost 400 corrections, some of which date back to the first edition. Includes the original red and black maps drawn by Christopher Tolkien, two of which appear as fold-out sheets, appearing for the first time in a full color plate section featuring the 3 pages from the Book of Mazarbul, which is the book of Balin and Moria, painstakingly created by J.R.R. Tolkien himself. Also appearing for the first time are 2 additional Hobbit family trees by Tolkien. Includes the appendices and a revised and updated index, quarter-bound in red, stamped in red and gold font. Quarter-bound in red, stamped in red and gold foil. I can't speak. On the grey boards and housed in a matching slipcase, printed on superior acid-free paper and including a ribbon marker. So, the real deal. Now, you saw Sauron's eye peeping through, but if I now grab the book out of the slipcase, you can see that it actually has the entire same symbol on the book itself and surrounded by the 3 elven rings of power, which is a really cool detail. I absolutely love that. Look at this. This is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. By far, out of all the editions of the Lord of the Rings that exist out there, I believe that this is one of the prettiest ones. At least in my personal opinion. And then on the back, we have Tolkien's rune once again. And that's... I'll give you the spine one more time. And Jesus Christ, look how thick that is. Now, as far as I can see or feel, that's correct. The pages themselves are, of course, pretty thin to include like all of the works in this, because like if you have the pages like really thick, then you're gonna have a book that is twice the size of this, and then it is like you can't even handle it properly because it's that big. So I'm gonna go in this and like read the preface maybe, and maybe look at the maps and the pages of the Book of Mazarbul, which I'm really excited about. So I'm gonna put this down. When I'm reading through this in a minute, I won't be able to show you exactly because I don't have another camera for that. But if you're interested in seeing more of the book and seeing all the things, I'll make like an update video. Oh, the spine cracks so loud. Okay, so we have Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. And then, of course, we start with the very iconic 3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie, 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all in the darkness, bind them in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. Chills. If you've ever heard Christopher Lee recite that, amazing. I love his voice so much for that, because like his way of reading or speaking that specific, like the verse, it's so cool. Love Christopher Lee, amazing actor. So then we have all the different pages. Let's see. is that? Because I might just do that real quick. Oh, that's pretty long. Wait, that's a little bit too long to read right now. And then it comes a note on the reverse text, which is a little bit shorter. And then forward to the second edition. I believe that's not something exclusive. And then we have the prologue. Okay. Again, these are a lot of words and a lot of difficult words, so I am not entirely sure if I'm gonna do this in this video. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do is leave it up to you. Would you like me to read the introduction and all of the things that went into making this book, and like Tolkien's and Christopher's explanations? Then I will, but perhaps not in this video, because this video will take forever. But if you're interested, let me know. I talked about this in one of my first videos, that if I ever got the Lord of the Rings in this edition, or if you were interested, I would read the Lord of the Rings on the channel in like episodic videos. And then I could like read all the introduction and everything and the forewords in like an episodic theme. Like in the first episode I could do all the forewords, second episode the prologue, third episode part 1, and then next chapter part 2, part 3, and so forth and so forth. So if that's something that you are interested in, let me know, and that could be something I could do for a video. But that's all up to you. If you're interested, I would happily do it, and I might just do it anyway, just because I think that it will be a nice video format. And also because I love the Lord of the Rings, and I have been dying to read it again, because I've only read it one time until now, last year, and I wanted to read the Lord of the Rings again. So I might just do that for the channel, because of the occasion that I now have this edition. But if that's something we're interested in, or you are interested in, put it in the comments below, and I'll do my best. So, let's see, I want to go to like not the first episode, but like the prologue, and then I'm just gonna read like maybe, or no, wait, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read one page of the I'm so sorry. And Tolkien had many such readers from very early on, even before the publication of the third volume, which contained much hitherto unrevealed information on the invented languages and writing systems. Tolkien received many letters from readers written in these systems, in addition to numerous enquiries on the finer points of their usage. The second volume, The Two Towers, was published in England on the 11th of November in 1954, and in the United States on the 21st of April in 1955. Meanwhile, Tolkien worked to keep a promise he had made in the foreword to Volume 1 that an index of names and strange words would appear in the third volume. As originally planned, this index would contain much etymological information on the languages. Why does he use such words? I'm sorry. This is the last time I will say I'm sorry, but I'm doing my best. Anyways, an index of names and strange words would appear in the third volume. As originally planned, this index would contain much etymological information on the languages, particularly on the Elven tongues, which was a very large vocabulary. It proved the chief cause of the delay in publishing Volume 3, which is the end, contained no index at all, only an apology from the publisher for its absence, for Tolkien had abandoned work on it after indexing Volumes 1 and 2, believing its size and therefore its cost to be ruinous. Volume 3, The Return of the King, finally appeared in England on October the 20th, 1955, and in the United States on the 5th of January, 1956. With the appearance of the third volume, The Lord of the Rings was published in its entirety, and its first edition text remained virtually unchanged for a decade. Okay, so there you have a little sneak peek on the foreword. And I always like reading the forewords because you get a little bit of a look into what happened and how we got the Lord of the Rings on the market back all the way in the 1900s, when Tolkien himself was working on it and publishing it, and etc. etc. So I'm very happy though at the end they finally did manage to get Lord of the Rings out there with the index in it, contained at the back, because the index itself helped really much, at least from my reading experience. Also, getting a little bit of a story perspective from the first age, and a little hint to what the Silmarillion is and was going to be. And of course the Silmarillion, amazing work, amazing. But yeah, that's really cool. So right now, before we wrap things up, I want to look at the pages of the Book of Mazarbul, which are an exclusive thing to this edition and other deluxe editions, I believe. There they are. Leaves from the Book of Mazarbul. So I'm gonna do my best to show you these. So these are the leaves, which are basically there's this book when they go into the mines of Moria that explains what happened to Balin and his dwarven company, and these leaves are in those books, and Gandalf reads these to the Fellowship, and then they figure out what happened to Balin and the others. But just these are in Dwarvish, I believe, Dwarvish runes, and maybe Elvish, but I'm not entirely sure. So I can't read them, of course, because I don't actually know that language. But I just think that it's a really nice addition. I'm trying to put this back carefully, to have them included, just to immerse yourself a little bit more. They don't fit a very specific purpose, because you can't read them, of course, but just having them there gives me a little bit of a belief that they exist. exist. I might read into that a little bit too much, but that's not the only thing we have, because we only have maps, as is said, which I have one here of Middle Earth, or no, this is a map of Gondor and a little bit of Mordor and Rohan from Return of the King. You can see Mordor on the right with Udun and the plateau of Gorgoroth, and you can see Barad-dûr over there, and Orodruin, Mount Doom, and then Gondor, Minas Tirith, and Osgiliath and Minas Morgul, and a little bit of Rohan with Edoras and Helm's Deep. Really nice. I love the black and red they chose for this, or well, which Christopher used, and I believe that was like a choice by Gerard Tolkien himself. I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna quickly fold this back up, and I believe there's one more map at the end of Middle Earth itself. I'm sure. Yes, there it is. Of course, these papers are really thin, as they have to be, so I'm being extra careful. Look, there we have it. The entirety of Middle Earth, which is really cool. The west of Middle Earth and the end of the Third Age, or at the end of the Third Age. Very cool. It looks very nice. I love the red and black. I have in my room a very big map of Middle Earth, the exact same one that's this, only not in red and black, and more of a like withered version to make it seem like it's old. And I have it in a very old painting, like one of those old ones you see at your grandparents' house or whatever. And that's where I keep, like, I have that map in my room, and it's like really big, like bigger than I can show you right now, but I really like it, and I like that I can have the two maps together. I think that will look amazing, but that is going to be it for this video. Again, let me know if you would be interested in having me read The Lord of the Rings on the channel. I think it would be really fun. Plus, I think that Lord of the Rings, and just reading in general about Lord of the Rings more, is very comforting and relaxing, and the story itself is not too fast paced, so you can like sit down and relax, and it's not all just all out war and things and that. And I think that for an ASMR video, that Lord of the Rings, the story itself, would just be very relaxing in a video format, and ASMR in general. So let me know what you think about that, and perhaps I can do more books like that on the channel, not just Middle Earth, but other books as well, and that is all just preference based. If people, or if you would be interested, I would give it a go, but if like it's not many people like it, then I would rather spend the time in making videos that would be like more enjoyable. With that being said, I'll put my for those of you that